Welcome to the program. My name is Alexander Kerry. With more than 30 productions last year, Ukrainian cinema is showing an astonishing vitality. But it is a sign of a rebirth of the seventh art in Ukraine. What does international cinema has to learn from Ukraine? Joining me in the studio to discuss red carpet and silver screen is Alik Shpilyuk, who is, among other things, film critic, program director, and member juries for numerous festivals in Ukraine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
My first question will be about the Ukrainian National Film Award, which will be held in the 20th of April. So in Ukraine, there is already the Odessa Film Festival, the Molodist, that just have been the Docu Days, with their own award ceremony. What's the exact purpose of this new ceremony? Why is it different?
Well, I believe it's the same question as if you ask French, why do they have César if they have Cannes Film Festival? Or let's say the British, why do they have BAFTA Awards if they have the London Film Festival or any other film festival? Or the same question could be asked for Americans with Oscar Awards. Yeah, because it's just different things. I mean, the festivals are the festivals. It's first of all, it's the audience thing, and the winners at the film festivals are decided by the juries, which are, let's say, 5, 6, 7 people, or the audience award, which is audience. And the national film awards, like in any other country, it's the film industry thing.
The professional are choosing.
The professional, the members of the National Academy, in this case Ukrainian Film Academy, are voting for the best films of themselves and their colleagues. So it's the most professional sign of your work.
So how do you select these movies for this award? Is it a voting between among professionals, or is it?
Well, in fact, this is the first award, and we just started it, and we are selecting from the films which were released in 2016 during 1 year, and all together about 76 films were submitted by the filmmakers. And we checked very thoroughly all the criteria, and 54 of them are eligible, and they made the long list of the. And the board of the Academy, which is 15 people, the most famous Ukrainian filmmakers, they, from these 54 films, they select the nominees in each of the category, which are the same as all the other film awards, like the best film, the best director, actor,
so technical, then technical.
Yeah.
So, well, what are then the criteria of selection? If the director is watching us right now, what would be the criteria you judge a film from? The main ones.
Well, first of all, they select these nominees are the best in their opinion. They're the most professional filmmakers in Ukraine. Of course, but I mean, they are selecting only nominees. And all the rest, I mean, the winners will be chosen by all the members of Ukrainian Film Academy. And again, it's the best professional thing. Of course, it's subjective. But when you have, let's say, 250 people or more, we believe, this subjectiveness becomes objective.
Isn't it a bit difficult for, let's put it that way, festival from Ukraine to exist in front of monster festivals like Cannes, which is going to be held in a few?
First of all, our festivals in Ukraine are very specific. Let's say the big festivals like category A festival, like Cannes or Venice or Berlin, they're more global, I would say. They select films which were never screened before. They have the world premieres, mainly. And our festivals, of course, they cannot compete. Like there is a Moscow Film Festival, which also tries to get the world premieres, but we all know that the level of quality of the films they select is much lower than, let's say, Cannes or Venice or Berlin. So Ukrainian festivals, they are aimed on some specific kinds of films, like Molodist is for debuts, Docu Days is for
international human rights.
Human rights, documentaries, and Odessa Film Festival is the so-called art mainstream, high-quality films which are aimed on quite wide audience.
And would you say that because of these specificities, these Ukrainian festivals could bring fresh air to other venues in the world?
Yeah, I think so, and that's why, let's say, more and more foreign professionals are coming to all our Ukrainian festivals, trying to find something, of course, first of Ukrainian production, which they can bring to their countries, and also to probably to exchange some experience. And the main thing that after these festivals, we have a lot of co-productions with, really cinematic countries.
And what does Ukraine take from these foreign filmmakers as a benefit? Do Ukrainian filmmakers learn from these foreign filmmakers?
Again, they can participate in co-productions and get some experience from Western filmmakers, and also the young Ukrainian filmmakers. They're attending these festivals. They can see the best what has been done in the world, and also they can look for some masters, and they attend the master classes, which all the festivals do normally during their run. So yeah, that's it.
Speaking about young directors, do you see certain trends in Ukrainian cinema since, let's say, since Maidan? Did you see the cinema evolve, the topics evolve, or even the techniques of cinema evolve in the young directors' creations?
Well, first of all, of course, all the political events which took place in Ukraine, they had some impact on what the young filmmakers did and doing now. And of course, they were reacting on the revolution issues and then the war issues, and now after war syndromes, because it's a lot of, we remember what's happening in the United States after the Vietnam War. But also they're trying now to overcome these, very traumatic issues and communicate somehow to normal life. And this is a very interesting transition from, very hard experience to trying to do something more, I would say, normal. Or
you've been in the world of cinema since, as we were talking about, since 1986, and then in 1991 you was the first melodist. Well, of course, a few answers were going to be a bit evident, but what changed from between today and deeply changed between 1986 and 1991?
Well, a lot changed. First of all, we live in another country. And I would say we live in another technological world, because the changes, technical changes, were just enormous. Comparing to end of 80s, let's say, to nowadays, it's something really unbelievable. And also, it connected with the perception of movies, if we're talking about movies, because now practically everything is possible. You can find anything if you want. And to attract your attention from the audience, you need to work more, hard and more investigatively to find something which may be new or unknown for the audience, again, which can find anything now.
So would you say that there is this paradox that films are easier to reach, but actually easier, harder to find?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And another question, what's the most difficult, being a program director or a member of a jury?
I would say that program director is more difficult.
Why would you say so?
Work, because when you're in the jury, you have just a selection of, let's say, 15 or 20 or 10 films, and your only task is to somehow to step on your opinion and communicate it to other members of the jury, which is quite complicated, but it's a normal, communication thing. Being the program director, you have to investigate a lot of sources of films, communicating with productions, you know, combining the films in the program. It's much more, I mean, multi-directional thing than being on the jury.
I was personally in the Odessa Film Festival, and I found it really interesting that the whole town during the Odessa Film Festival, especially last year, is entirely dedicated to cinema. Do you think it's only possible in Ukraine, or is it possible in other countries?
Well, it happens. In fact, it depends on the size. Sometimes on the size of the city. Let's say in Cannes, the whole town is the festival during the festival. Let's say, I don't know, in Berlin as well, though Berlin is quite a big city. But not in Kiev. I mean, when we have Molodist, only few people really know that something happens. In Odessa, first of all, it's summer, it's July. Odessa is a very open city, and the people in Odessa are really open, and they want to get some guests, and they want to share the happiness of their city. So yeah, in Odessa, it's also it's in the air, I would say.
And okay, one last question. Imagine, as you're a professional since a long time now, imagine a young director or a young critic who wants to do the same job as you. What advice would you give to this person?
I would advise that if you are really interested in something which you want to do, you should do it, and it comes. I mean, everything comes. If you're really doing the things which is yours, it will be yours.
I guess just another question. What is the most it's actually a question in two. What is the most exciting things you saw recently, and what is the most disappointing one?
Oh, you mean the films?
Yeah.
Or I cannot tell you right now, but a lot of exciting things. You know, we are now in the selection process of Odessa Film Festival. We have an enormous amount of films to watch. It's really hard to
you don't need to give any names. No. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this interview. It was a pleasure to have you in our studio.
Thank you.
It was Alik Shpilyuk, who was, among other things I said before, film critic, program director, and member of the jury for numerous festivals in Ukraine. Thank you for watching us. Stay tuned for the rest of the program.